think something has to change, Dad. I think when you look at how passive we are and when you look at how vulnerable we are, I mean, you said in the Southampton post-match, especially in the first 20 minutes, half an hour, every time they got the ball in our final third, we looked vulnerable, didn't you?
If we keep using the same blueprint that we've done over the last 8-10 away games, it's easy to predict what's going to happen. So we have to do something different. Welcome back to BCFC Royal Blue. Now, it's fair to say that the games are coming thick and fast in the Championship prior to the Christmas period. In our last game, Birmingham City, we lost 3-1 at Southampton. And just a few days later, we're off on our travels again to Loftus Road to meet Queen's Park Rangers. Now, in this podcast, myself and Matt, as always, will give our opinions and thoughts on Queen's Park Rangers and give you a bit of information about what we think the starting lineup will be. So, I'm sort of pessimistically saying to you, Matt, what do you think on the basis that we've just literally lost again away to Southampton? So what's your thoughts on this game?
It's not just the loss against Southampton, it's the way we lost to Southampton again. That lacklustre, lack of aggression, allowing them too much space, the ball time, all these things which we discussed in the post-Southampton. If you haven't watched it, go watch it because it highlights what we think is wrong with our performances away from home, because there's still a massive disconnect, which is starting to worry me. We're moving into the Christmas period now. This is kind of make or break time for your season with all the fixtures coming up. I love a midweek away game, Dad. You know, they're difficult for us to get to sometimes, especially during the busyness of our working life. But
we're going to this one.
We are going to this one. And, I do like going to QPR as well. It's definitely due an upgrade in terms of the concourse and stuff. But there's something to be said for how close you are to the action at QPR. I actually quite like it as an away day. And there's something to be said for those old school away ends, which I quite enjoy. But as you said, Dad, we go into this after a 3-1 defeat at Southampton, and QPR go into this after a 3-1 win at home to the Baggies. And their top liked tweet on their page was brilliant. 3 wins out of 4. Have to take this into Tuesday now. So clearly a team which has a bit of momentum, because 3 wins out of 4 at this level is pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah. That's a good point. I mean, they're a team. If you look at their starters or their season so far, they're a team of like stop and start. You know, so they started off quite poorly. They lost 2 of their first 3 games and drew the other one. Then they won 3 in a row. Then they drew 2. Won 2 of the next 3, then lost 3 in a row, and currently in their last 5 games they've won 3, drawn 1, and lost 1. And actually, as you said, 3 of those wins have come in the last 4 games. So actually, we're catching them on a good run of form. So, and they're a team that when we talk about their players, which we'll do that in a moment, they're very capable. Again, another fast team, another pacey team, but typical of the better teams in the Championship. I think Queen's Park Rangers, are very close to us. If you look at the league table, we're in 8th, they're in 10th, separated by Hull City, and we've all got 28 points. So
close, isn't it?
It is so close, and I think this will be another tough one for us, because as we mentioned, Matt, it's our form that bothers us.
I know.
Whereas it's not really. We could look at analyse QPR till the hilt, and we'll give you some facts and figures in a minute on QPR. But it's what we do that bothers me, and what we don't do.
In a way, that's not a bad thing, because we're in control of it. Well, Chris Davies is in control of it, so it's our mistakes to rectify. We know what the problems are. We can all see it as Blues fans and as a fan base. We know what we're doing wrong.
Yeah.
And the fact there's such a disconnect between away and home is worrying. But the way I sort of viewed QPR, especially at the start of the season and coming out, it was someone described them as inconsistent but dangerous. But of course, now they're actually starting to get a little bit of consistency as well. So now you could just call them a dangerous team, I guess. But what really surprised me was the loss out of those 4. So they've won 3, lost 1 in their last 4. The one was against Norwich.
Yeah.
And we played Norwich recently at home, and I thought QPR would have beaten Norwich. In fact, Dad, after Norwich beat QPR, a Norwich fan went onto the QPR page and said, losing to us is just embarrassing, lads. Because Norwich have been having a pretty poor season.
You can't really use that logic in the Championship.
You can't.
I'll tell you why. Because Millwall beat Southampton last week, and then we think, okay, we beat Millwall 4-0, so we'll go and beat. But we lost to Southampton, so it's the same.
Oxford beating Ipswich. Ipswich then beating Coventry.
Yeah,
you just can't.
I think that's less of a surprise. But yeah, I get your point. Coventry are absolutely flying.
But they lost to Oxford.
Yes, I'll see what you're saying.
Oxford beat Ipswich. Ipswich beat Coventry.
Yeah, good point.
This league is so difficult to predict.
I see your point. Sorry, I missed that. Their home form, they've got 14 points out of their 9 games at home. So they are sort of just below mid-table in the home form table. They're goals, they've scored 25 goals, so they're about mid-table for goals scored. They scored 25, we scored 28. It's their defence that's a problem. They're the fourth worst defence in the Championship, conceded 29 goals. We've conceded 23 now because obviously we conceded 3 at Southampton. And again, not huge amounts in terms of those stats between the two teams, which is probably why we are so close in the league table. But it's just this away form that bothers me. They obviously their manager Julian Stefan plays a same always 4-2-3-1. Every game I've looked at or researched, they played a 4-2-3-1.
Apparently, when they got him, Dad, he was quite the coup.
Yeah,
I think he'd been quite successful in the French leagues, hadn't he? He'd had quite a bit of success, you know, in the European league, especially the French leagues. I think when he came to QPR, it was kind of a bit of a coup to grab him, and I think he's quite a well-respected sought-after manager.
Yeah.
But I know when he first got the job, Dad, he wanted his teams to have energy, intensity, and personality. And I think he's kind of done a decent job of him. They have their problems at the back. You know, I'll go through some of my observations in a minute, but I just want to highlight what you said, Dad. You know, he said energy, intensity. Whenever you do watch QPR and they go forward and they're fluid, they look really good.
Yeah. And that's what bothers me a little bit because, you know, when we looked at what happened at Southampton, when they came at us at pace, we looked vulnerable. You know, we did have to do some last-ditch challenges and some great saves from Beadle to keep the score down, but that's where we could potentially struggle. They like attacking down the right as well, and obviously they've got Kuriki Dembele, who's their right winger. And Poku, I believe he's on his way to recovery, but I don't think he's played much of a part in the squad at the moment. So they like attacking down the right. They do shoot on sight, and you know they create a lot of good goal scoring chances. A dangerous team. I think this is a team that we got to be very wary of going forward, but we know that we can exploit at the back because of their defensive record as well. So, I mean, and they've got some good players, you know, that, you know, look at the likes of Jimmy. Do you remember he scored the winner last time we played them? This is when they were in the relegation battle with us, the season we got relegated, late on in the season as well. Yeah. I think it was 1-1, and Jimmy Duncan, I think it was a header.
We went 1-0 up. Bakuna scored on the edge of the box.
Yes.
And everyone thought we're staying up. Yeah. All that optimism came in. And this was one of Gary Rowett's first games, I believe. One of them. It could have been his first one, QPR away under Rowett. And I'll never forget when Cody Drama got an elbow in like the face and his lip was bleeding or his nose was bleeding. Nobody helped it. And that, to me, actually, believe it or not, I'm not exaggerating, I knew we were in trouble at that point because that team wasn't together. Imagine that happening to one of our players now. They'd all be swarming, and rightly so. That's what you do. You back up.
Got a bit of a team ethic,
you back up your teammates. That's the way it goes. I'll never forget that actually from that season. It was really disappointing, and then to lose it 2-1 in that way as well. Yeah, really disappointing. But
I mean, you look at Jimmy Dunn. I mentioned he's their right back. They've also got Steve Cook, very very experienced centre half. Richard Kone, plays as their number 10, and
is he not 9?
Their number 9 is Romain Barral, who they got in the summer from Burton. He's their leading scorer with 9 goals at the moment.
I thought Kone was a number 9.
No. Every team formation I've got of theirs where they play 4-2-3-1, Kone's been the number 10.
Fair dues.
He's been the number 10, and they got Sato on the left as well. Although he didn't play against in their last game against West Bromwich Albion. Did he actually? He may have done actually. So I've got their seasonal team here in terms of their most common top team. So he could have been in that team. I didn't filter it by last match actually, but he did play in their previous game that they won as well. But they've got good players and they're dangerous players, just like every other league. Yeah. So Romain Barral's got 9 goals so far. A lot of people looked at that when they said we bought him from Burton, but he's obviously he's one of the top scorers in the Championship at the moment. Richard Kone's got 4. Paul Smith, their right winger's got 3. Elias Chair's got 1. And Jimmy Dunn's got 1, and Elias Chair's got 2 assists. So again, they're spreading the goals around a little bit. They did spend a little bit of money in the summer. They bought in Richard Kone, apparently 3.2 million, which I thought they did well to get him for that price because he was mooted in January last year to go to Luton, where the old Wickham manager was there, wasn't he? And there's 7 million being banded about then, so they got him for 3.2. Koki Siato, they got him from Lamel in Belgium for 3.2 million.
We were linked with him.
Yeah.
at one point during the summer.
Yeah, Kariako Dembele, I think he was on loan. They made it permanent. They paid $2 million for him. And remember, this could be one of the signings of the season. Only cost 1.15 million
Wow.
from Burton, and he's banged in 9 goals already. So again,
impressive, isn't
that's
it?
looking like good business, isn't it? So good side. I like QPR as well. I like their fans as well because they're always respectful. You know, when we played them a few seasons ago, when we just started the channel, and we're getting some fantastic banter between them. Real good natured banter, and they're a nice club. You know, proper sort of old top school club that, as you said, you would just really like going there.
Also, Dad, there's a couple of London clubs I respect, like Millwall, QPR, Leighton Orient, because you could go to the Chelseas and the Arsenals and the Tottenhams, but actually they've chosen they're stuck with their local London team. You know, and by the way, I'm not saying QPR are a bad team by saying that. I'm just saying that it's an easy pick, isn't it, to go to Arsenal or one of the bigger London teams. But fair play to them. And just to piggyback on what you said, Dad. Really, I mean, they're quite a young team, to be fair. They've got good pace, they've got good energy.
Yeah.
When they do go forward, they do score quite a good varied amount of goals. I've seen a few direct dinks over the top. I've seen some goals coming in wide. I've seen some shots from distance. So again, you never really know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
But, and this is the caveat to that, and the opposite side to that, and we need to exploit it, is they concede some sloppy goals. Really, really poor. I mean, I saw them against Norwich and against Blackburn, one of their 2 more recent games, Dad, and the set pieces, 2 Norwich men won for Norwich's first or second goal. It was a corner. It was a bit scrappy. 2 Norwich players had the chance to win the ball, and then it kind of went to the back post and they scored. Against Blackburn, and Blackburn were getting the ball in the box. They looked dangerous. They played quite well against Blackburn, actually, and they looked quite dangerous. But they had their chances, Blackburn did, and it all came from balls in the box, set pieces. I think if you go at QPR with speed and get the ball in the box, you can cause some damage. So I think they're one of those teams, aren't they? They're very good going forward, but they are capable of conceding quite a few goals as well. I think you said that earlier in the podcast, Dad. So from a Blues perspective, that's encouraging because, we can hurt teams when we're quick and direct. We just need to pick that speed up, pick that intensity up, and get that movement away from home. I think if we do that, we'll be okay again. But just being honest here, I'm not seeing that from Blues at the moment, and that worries me a little bit. So, I think that's pretty much the lot for me on QPR. Dad, should we go on to the Blues team? Or unless you got anything final thoughts on QPR?
No, just to drop another name, really. Their leading scorer last season was Michael Frey. I don't think he's been picked as much this season. Centre forward, he's still there. He obviously is somebody make him off the bench if he's fit. I don't know, but it's a good team, isn't it? I say for me, it's in terms of us, we've got to take our chances when we get them, and we've got to maintain the tempo at a constant level all the way through the game. But let's get on to the Blues, Matt, because we mentioned in the Southampton post-match game that we need to try and do something different. First question really is, do you think that we will?
I think something has to change, Dad. I think when you look at how passive we are and when you look at how vulnerable we are, I mean, you said in the Southampton post-match, especially in the first 20 minutes, half an hour, every time they got the ball in our final third, we looked vulnerable, didn't you?
Yeah.
And you said you're worried and alarmed if the opposition get the ball in our half and you're worried. That shows a bit of a glaring issue, doesn't it? So I think Chris Davies has to make some changes, whether it's formation, whether it's instructional. I'm not a football manager. I don't know what that looks like or what he's got in his mind. He has to make some sort of changes, doesn't he? And I think at home, again, just to make the comparison here, at home, we're aggressive, we're on the front foot, we pass it quickly, we move. We kind of dominate games at home, even in games where we've gone close to the line. Like, we do very well, and that isn't translating. So in my opinion, yes, a long way about going about it, Chris Davies has to make some changes. What do you think?
No, he has to. I think we can't, if we keep using the same blueprint that we've done over the last 8-10 away games, it's easy to predict what's going to happen. So we have to do something different, and whether that's in a change of personnel or a slight tweak in the formation, it's down to Chris Davies. And if I'm honest with you, I don't exactly know what the right answer is, but I just know that we need to do so. We have to give opposition teams something different to think about. Because I think maybe we have got the right players, just that we're not
set up wrong.
Yeah, possibly. And I think that's questioning the formation, really. But I think we all see what happens in away games, so we have to try something different, don't we? But I'm not convinced Chris Davies will. I think we'll see this. I'm going to think we're going to see the same starting lineup again. Yeah. Although you would argue that the Southampton game was only, this game's played on a Tuesday. That game was on a Saturday. There might be an argument to freshen it up a little, like bringing Mark Leonard, for example.
That was literally going to be my point. I think he might put Mark Leonard in. And if we're going to be honest, Dad, against Southampton, I thought Paik had quite a poor game.
Yeah.
So that would be a natural swap out for me.
That might be an option, and then it's what you do up front because Stano's got to play.
Yeah.
He's an absolute no-brainer. He has to be in the team. It's what you do with Dux. I think Dux has been a little bit underwhelming in the last couple of games. He scored the goal or the equaliser against West Bromwich Albion, but I don't think whether or not he's quite up to speed with what Chris Davies wants or whatever, but he just looks a little bit, dare I say, lightweight at times with the ball or when the ball's
100%.
coming to him. So whether we maybe replace him, but then who would you put? Because obviously he's been playing. I think Stano's the best number 9. I do. I would put Stano in the number 9.
Who would you put in the 10?
Well, then the argument would be it's either going to be Kyogo as the number 10.
I wouldn't do that personally.
Neither would I actually. But I'm just saying you're talking
That's
about
an option.
Talking about options, yeah. But we've toyed with loads of players in that number 10, haven't we? Keshi Anderson's played there, Damari Gray's played there.
What about that? A little tweak that might help. Just putting it out there is at the minute. Stano's in the 10 and Dux is in the 9. Swapping those two.
Possibly.
So Dux comes back in the 10 a little bit deeper with his link-up play and his one touches, and Stano's running the line.
Yeah.
Because I know naturally during the game, those two do interchange a little bit, and Stano then runs round, Dux sits back a little bit, then they swap. I mean, we have predominantly been playing Stano in behind with Dux in the 9, but what about swapping those two back? That could maybe add us a little bit of dimension.
that could work, or could be an option. He did. Chris Davies did try a slight change at the start of the Southampton game because he changed the wingers over, didn't he?
Yeah,
so he started with Dimmy over on the right and Patrick Roberts on the left, and after 10 minutes, he realised it was absolutely not working and put them back again.
Yeah. They scored, didn't they? And then after they scored, they went back on the opposite wing.
Well, they scored, and they could have scored 3 by that point. And so I think Chris Davies is trying to change things, but is there maybe a possible argument to start Dykes as a target man? You know, and again, this is only me. This is not me saying this will happen. This is me putting a suggestion out there. Is he the type of player that might thrive? Because one thing we have got a couple of times, you know, we ping the ball in. There's nobody there, you know. So,
in fact, didn't I say? I could have got this wrong. Was it half time or about 60 minutes? I can't remember exactly when I said it, but against Southampton, I said this looks like Dykes could do us a good favour here because we were looking for someone to hold the ball up a little bit, weren't we? Because we were at times going at Southampton in the second half. Yeah. We needed something a bit more physical. What does Dykes do? First thing he comes on, he wins his header.
Yeah.
You know, it shows you what he gives you, but would he start for me, though?
Well, but this is it. But we've said that, you know, Chris Davies has to look at different change. He has to change things up. He has to give the opposition. Sure. So that would be an option. So you could put him in the number 10 instead of Dux, leave Stano as the number 9, and give us a bit more of a physical presence. And then, depending upon how the game goes, see if Dykes isn't capable of doing the full 90 minutes, at least start him, bring him on at the beginning, and then you can take him off whenever you need to. So that could be an option as well. We're only thinking out loud, Blues fans here, but I think you probably agree that we can't keep doing the same thing and then keep losing away. It's the same formula. We're going to end up with the same result, isn't it? So we have to change the formula, and I think that requires that we do look at a change of personnel.
If we're going to be honest as well, that Chris Davies ain't changing the formation. He's not changing the formation.
We don't need to be what we've suggested.
No, but what I'm saying is, though, you know, people are saying about fundamental change and things need to be different away from home. You know, one argument to that would be for Chris Davies to change the formation. But I'm putting it out there right now. You know, he's quite stubborn in his 4-2-3-1, isn't he? He's not changing that. So that brings us back to players.
The team. Let's go to the team. Okay, I'll give you the whole team.
Yeah, because I'm sure mine's exactly the same.
But after our conversation, I'm going to shake things up a little bit because I think we do need a change. So I'm going to go for what I would like. I think we could easily just see the same starting 11 we have seen for minus that game where Owatu was suspended. But
by the way, I've made 2 changes from the team at Southampton.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so I'm going to go for Beadle, Cochrane on his performance. Does he deserve to be there? He will be there. I think he'll be the left back. So I've gone for Beadle in goal, Cochrane left back, Clara Neumann a centre halves, and Owatu as right back. I am going to go for Leonard and Doyle in the middle. I'm going to put Paik on the bench. I'm going to go for. I can't drop Dimmy. He's been brilliant. Dimmy on the left, Patrick Roberts on the right. I am going to make that change. I'm going to go for Dykes in the 10 and Stano in 9.
With those 2 changes, they're mine.
Are they?
And to be honest with you, Dad, I wasn't expecting, before we've just talked it out, I wasn't expecting to put Dykes in the 10, but the more we talk about it, physicality, you know, we are going more direct now. Beadle's kicking the ball longer and higher, and we are a little bit different at home in that regard. So why not put a more physical player? It might not work.
It's his old team as well, Dykes, isn't it?
It might not work, who knows? But at the minute, something has to change and something has to give. But also, Dad, are we highlighting a gap in the team here? A 10? A very, very good, creative, athletic number 10, and a physical striker.
A few games ago, we thought that Dutch was the answer, didn't we? We looked at how things have changed since he came in the team. But I do think in the last couple of games, he's just not looked. He's not looked at that physical type of player that player that's going to sort of either control or keep the ball. No, I'm not saying he's a bad player, by the way, because if he keeps putting the ball in, I don't really care what he does. But I'm going by what I've seen in the last few games. He has a little bit like we saw with Williamson last season. He'd have amazing games and he'd drift off. I think that's what we've seen with Dykes over the last few games. So I'm going to go for Dykes. And interestingly, as I've just mentioned, Dykes will be playing, if he does start, against Queen's Park Rangers, his old team.
Exactly.
So
he actually missed a penalty against us, Dad, at home. I think it was 2022 or 3, and it was John Ruddy in goal.
Oh, okay. Yes, I remember.
QPR were playing in red and black.
Yeah.
And it was a Dykes penalty that Ruddy saved.
I remember him scoring a free kick. It might have been the same game. He scored a free kick as well against us. So anyway, he plays for us now, so let's not worry about that. So that's what I'm going for. So you're going for the same team as me, basically.
Score prediction then, Dad.
It's tough. Again, I'm not confident to predict the Blues win. I'd love to be out there, the sort of the sunshine, and say we're going to win 2 or 3-0. I'm going for a 1-1 draw again.
Same prediction.
Same prediction against.
I've gone for a draw, but with Blues' defence away and QPR's general defence at conceding goals. I've gone for a draw as well. I've gone slightly higher. I've gone for 2-2.
2-2. Okay.
No final thoughts. That I think in my brain, I'm just dying for this conversion from the home form to the away form. This is a good chance for us to rectify the Southampton game. It was poor. I think the majority of our away games generally have been poor. This is a chance for us to put it right. Come on, Chris Davis, let's make some changes, or let's get them fired up for this one, and let's bring back those 3 points. But no, looking forward to it, Dad. We'll be there, and always enjoy going to QPR away. Should be a good one.
Yeah, just so the Blues fans know that we've got the 4th worst away form in the whole of the Championship. So we've got 8 points from 10 games, and then you've got Sheffield Wednesday 6 points from 9. Watford 6 points from 9, and Portsmouth 6 points from 9.
8 points from an available 30.
Yeah, in fact, actually, if all of those teams win that extra game the game less that they've played, we'll actually have the worst away record in the division. So obviously, we know that's a problem, and we've got another away game. So, what do you think, Birmingham City supporters? Love to know, your feelings and thoughts on anything we've spoken about, really, about the Blues. What do you think the starting lineup will be? Do you think it's a time for a change? Do you think we need to do something differently? Let us know in the comments below. If you're a Queen's Park Rangers fan and you've come across this podcast, then we welcome comments from the fans from the opposition teams as well. So please add your comments below. All we ask is that the comments are respectful, no abusive language or aggressive behaviour, because we are a family podcast. If you did like this podcast, as always, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And if you like to watch or listen to your podcast on Spotify, you'll also find us on there, and you'll see the handles appearing on the screen for all these channels right now. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already and you'd like to, and there's absolutely no obligation to do so, but if you would like to subscribe, then hit that big red subscribe button, and if you hit that little bell icon next to the subscribe button, you'll get notified every time myself and Matt put out a new podcast. So that's it for this one. Myself and Matt will see you on the next one, all about Birmingham City.